Hi, and welcome to this week's Wu Wei Wisdom, a life lessons teaching. It's great to be back with you all. This week, we are talking all about how to be more content in life, with yourself, and in your relationships. We'll be revealing what stops you from experiencing this positive and peaceful way of being, and the steps that you need to take right now to welcome more contentment, ease, and satisfaction into your life. Okay, David, so let's begin with some definitions. What does it actually mean to be contented?
Well, I think that's a good definition of being in Wu Wei, being in your flow, just being able to deal with all of the twists and turns that life offer you with a gracefulness and an ease, but that inner strength and determination. So I think this contentment is not a matter of looking outside of what other people think or say or judge, but more being connected and anchored and grounded in your own spirituality and believing it in yourself. That's what I would think is contentment.
And it's interesting you say that, David, because I think a lot of people would see as contentment as being like a final destination. Like, I'm now contented because I have arrived, I have reached my goal, I've reached what I've been striving for. I can now be at peace. But you've described it as a state of being, which means that we are still flowing through life. We're journeying, we're possibly tackling difficult and challenging situations, but from a place of inner contentment and ease.
Yes, but don't forget, I'm looking at it from a Taoist.
Well, exactly. And that's what we want to know. I mean,
So I'm looking at it from a Taoist, and there's never an end.
Never
we
an
never
end.
end.
Okay.
So we never end. So we'll never reach the destination. We're on the journey. This is the journey. This is the journey that you're on. I'm so grateful that I can just touch you and talk to you on your journey. But your journey is unique to you, and you're on this journey, and it's how you flow on your journey. And that's what Wu Mei means, being in your flow, effortless effort. So you're giving effort, you must give your best, but you're doing it with ease, with a generosity, with an inner peace and an inner calmness, and you're focusing and you're self-sufficient on your path, dealing, as I said earlier, with all the twists and turns, which we will get. I can't offer you a life with no twists and turns, no difficult situations, no challenges, because that's how we learn. That's how we nurture ourselves. That's how we grow. And that's how we reach our true potential.
But David, if I allow myself to be contented, accept what I have, accept my current situation with a grace and an ease, as you describe, does that mean that I am then allowing myself to settle for less, to give up reaching for more in my life if I believe I deserve more or should have more for me and my family, say?
But that kind of question didn't make sense,
Okay.
Alex, because you're already in the flow, you're already moving, you're in your life journey. How you can't stop, because if you stop, you have to. I like the analogy of water. I always use the analogy of water. So it's like we're in a canoe. I think this is a good analogy. We're in the river and we're going down. So we have to go with the flow of the river, don't we? Or we could do what you said. We could try and stay in one place, but we're working really hard to stay in one place. Why do you want to stay in one place? Why don't you go with the flow and navigate your canoe down the river? But in this river, there are rapids and waterfalls. There might be a few crocodiles, and you have to learn to navigate down the river in your unique way, not somebody else's. Don't look over at somebody else because they're doing it in their way. Look at your piece of the river and find your way through that. Don't fight against the river because you'll expel a lot of wasted energy. And guess what? You'll end up getting nowhere, going just round in circles, the carousel of despair.
But to use your analogy, David, I think a lot of people would say, I don't believe I'm fighting against the river. I just want to move faster, quicker, more efficiently to get to my destination. And is
Well,
what you're...
what's your destination then?
Well, it's the destination that the ego, the mind, sets for us.
But what is it?
Well, it would be to do better in my career, to have more money, to be in a better relationship. I mean, this is not mine. I'm just saying this would be the typical things people would cause dissatisfaction because they hadn't reached what they were striving for.
But that's interesting what you just said, because it creates dissatisfaction. So why would you want to create dissatisfaction? Why would you want to keep on striving to reach the end where there's no end? Why don't you be the best that you can and flow in your journey and get all of the benefits that are coming to you in this part of your journey? Why don't you flow in satisfaction, not dissatisfaction? I don't understand why you would choose dissatisfaction over satisfaction.
I think the issue is, David...
Go on, you'll have to role play now.
I think the issue is that I think it's hard to tread the line between having an intention or a wish or a desire for something more, which is like maybe an authentic desire or wish, and being content in this moment. It's would you say, is that correct? And is that achievable?
Well, I know it's hard when you try and do the role play, but if a client said that to me, I would say you'd have to define what more is.
Okay. Well, maybe this is ego. Would you say more is like an ego or inner child concept?
That would be the inner child. That would be the inner child. And the inner child, using my canoe analogy, not a canal, a canoe. The inner child's always happy to look over at somebody else and look at their canoe and say, well, their canoe is bigger than mine. They're going better than me. Instead of saying, why waste your time looking over at their canoe? Why not focus on your canoe? Why not be focused on your life? Why not use your skills? Because their skill set will be different to yours. Not better, not worse, just different. Because you are unique. And this is the teaching of Taoism to your inner child. There is no one. This is what I don't understand. If you can align with the role play that Alex is doing, to me it seems bizarre, because there is no one in the universe like you. No one. No one. No one has got your skills. No one has had your experiences. No one will have your experiences. Why would you look over and say, well, I should be better. I could be better. I want to be better. I want to be what they've got. I want to do what they're doing. They're doing better than me at the moment. I'm doing better than them. I've got to be top of the heap. That to me is just a complete waste of energy and time, when you should be focusing on going down this river, this beautiful river, in the best way that you can, looking ahead, looking and seeing, being a good judge of the river. Notice how the river changes. So when the rapids are coming, or the waterfalls, or the crocodiles are in the water, you're best prepared to deal with it and sail around it in your flow. And that's what Wu Wei means, effortless effort.
I think I can understand, and it seems very sensible to maybe... I think what I'm thinking is, if we can accept the situation, so we may, for example, be in a difficult situation, a problematic relationship, a problem with work, which would ordinarily give rise to a deep sense of dissatisfaction and inner disharmony, if we allow it. And what you're saying is, acknowledge the situation, but reach a level of acceptance with that. But that would still allow you to propel yourself towards a greater intention to move beyond this situation.
So I would say a little bit more than that,
Okay.
Alex. So if you're going through that really challenging, really difficult, really upsetting situation in your home life, in your family, in your relationship, in your work, rather than looking at this as the worst of all possibilities and something that is so heavy and you can't shift about it, I would want you, and I believe it is more satisfactory and more realistic, to say, this is my opportunity to learn. What do I have to learn from this situation? What brought me to this place? How did I get pulled down? If we use the river analogy, how did I get pulled down into this eddy? Why didn't I notice this as I was coming down the river? Why do I keep on being drawn to the eddies? So rather than going round and around the eddies and looking for someone else outside of yourself, and this is why we call these teachings life lessons, because we will all have life lessons. Thank goodness. I'm still having life lessons. My clients I work with are so helpful to me because they are so good at telling me their views on things. But as you said, they are dissatisfied. They are always negative. They are looking at the downside. And I'm saying that is just a point of view. That is just your perception. And you are in control of your perception. And when you see your perception as somehow lesser than, or a victim, or there's something wrong with you, you are not viewing reality in the correct, balanced way. The river is still the river. There are eddies on this river. As I said, there are rapids, waterfalls, crocodiles, big boulders in the way. We can't change that. That's the nature of the river that we're on. Thank goodness we're on this river, because also on this river, there are beautiful scenery. There are beautiful animals that we can look at. This boat we're on is an amazing boat that sails us down this river. So why don't we focus on, if we do approach a difficult situation, what is the best way to get round it? What is the best way to live in Wu Wei? What is the best way to reach your potential? And you won't do that by comparing yourself or looking at other people.
Or feeling sorry for yourself or feeling unhappy with your lot, because that is just wasting your energy. You're not channeling your energy correctly and positively in order to get around this challenge.
And can I just say something on that? Because this is what a lot of my clients will class themselves as being lazy, being, can't do it, can't face up to things. And when I speak to them, I'm amazed just how much energy they expand. They throw it away. They waste their life worrying, fretting, creating anxiety, trying to future-proof themselves, trying to manipulate other people and other situations, trying to be sure, trying to be certain, trying to have everything known, trying to be in control. We don't control the river. We're on the river. We are very good sailors. Let's sail. Is a canoe sailing? I don't know. But let's sail down this river. Yes, let's build some sails and sail down this river even better. So it's about focusing on you. And then a client will say to me, oh, well, that's being selfish. That's not being selfish. The energy of the universe that I teach is chi energy. So this energy flows through us and out. It doesn't go on to someone else and reflects to us like looking in a mirror. We don't have to wait for somebody else to tell us that you're awesome, that you're worth it, that you're valuable. You are already awesome, worth it, and valuable. There is no one in the universe like you. What more do you want? This is what I say to my clients. I can't give you any more. There's no end. We don't stand on a podium at the end of this life and say, well, I beat you. Mm-hmm. I got more money in the bank than you. I got a bigger car than you. It doesn't matter. It's what is important to you. It's about you being in your flow. It's about you connecting to that flow of energy within you, and then you reaching your potential, which is unique to you. No one else. No one else. And as I said at the beginning, there's no end. You don't get a rosette around your neck. This is it. This is your life today. As you finish watching this video, it's what you think. It's how you act. It's what you eat. It's what exercise you do. It's how you think about a situation that you're in now. Look at it fresh. Look at it new. Use your creativity. Connect to that wonderful force inside of you that I call Shen, and connect to that and let that take you forward.
And I like this idea of, as you said, describe the flow of energy, and that's how we can be most harmonious. And I I can't, for me, it's like if I have a mindset or an inner perspective of acceptance, what have I got to learn here? What can I take from this current situation, whether I believe it's okay or not okay? And how can I let this transform me and project me onwards in my journey? If I have that internal kind of energetic perspective, it's like I instinctively know that will then allow that energy to flow through me and for me to flow with life in a much better way.
Well, if you use that example that you just said, now you've got that flow. Now think about it. I've got to do better than him. He's doing better than me. He's more.
It doesn't feel powerful, because it's
Exactly.
like what is powerful is focusing on getting that perspective, that mindset within me. That instinctively feels like the more authentic thing to do. What they're doing is kind of irrelevant.
Exactly.
This comparing, criticizing, judging myself against other people is irrelevant and cannot exist when I truly buy in to this inner perspective of acceptance and learning.
So when a client says to me, but David, how many times do we hear that 3-letter word? But I agree with what you're saying, but no wonder I've got no hair. How about if they say to you, yes, but I need somebody else to inspire me?
But you can, I think, again, putting myself into that authentic, energetic position of contentment and acceptance, I can be inspired by other people. But ultimately, this is my journey.
But he always does better than me.
But that's their journey.
Exactly.
That's not my journey.
Exactly.
And we're talking, I can only live my journey.
Exactly.
I'm only here to live and experience my journey and make it the best it can be.
And there's the Taoist teaching. It's as simple as that. So the life lesson in this video is what we call in our model CCJ. CCJ stands for criticizing, comparing, and being judgmental. CCJ. And I would say no good, that Alex has just explained, and she put her hand on her chest and she said, when I'm doing that, it gives me a block. When you CCJ yourself or anyone else, what you're doing, you're building a dam in your energy stream. Qi cannot flow harmoniously. And that's why you have to use the word like dissatisfaction, disharmony. What you're saying when you use that dis word is, I've built a block. Only you can build a block in your body, in your energy flow. Energy wants to flow through you. You can align or not align. These are the choices. And this is why we do these videos. No one can make you. I can't make you. I can't make my clients. I can help clear the confusion. A client said to me, well, what you're doing really is clearing all this confusion. I says, hey, absolutely. That's all I'm doing. That's all if you want to live the rest of your life in dissatisfaction, I can't stop you. I'm not going to move in with you. That's your choice. And you also have a choice to live your life in satisfaction, in flow, in harmony, or you have a choice to live your life out of flow, out of harmony, going round and round in a whirlpool of despair, blaming everyone else, saying, well, if this didn't happen, if that hadn't have happened, if they hadn't have done this, and you're missing the point. Because what you're doing is you're just creating more and more energy blocks in your body. And this is when I teach and practice Qigong or Qi meditation. It's all about clearing the flow, letting the energy flow through you as we are designed to do. We are connected to the universe. We all have this energy flowing through us. If you don't believe me, look at any newborn child. My goodness, see the energy coming through them and see when they open the mouth and they scream and they pick up the toe and put it in their mouth. And this is what we are. You were that child. You have that energy. Don't block it.
And I think though, David, that's an important point, because if we truly reflect on this, on our life journey, many of us would say, well, when I was a very young child, I was contented. I had that naturalness, I had that ease and that flow automatically. But somehow I then started to doubt myself. I started to think I wasn't good enough, wasn't lovable, that I can't cope. And so since that point in time, I've always been striving for more. I am discontented with who I am and what I've got.
Well, that's like a set of beavers inside of your energy flow building a dam. Yes, the chi still gets through, but instead of flowing in harmony, it's having to fight over the dam that you've created by all the things that Alex have just said. And this is why this teaching of CCJ is so important. Stop it. For goodness sake, stop it. Don't criticize other people. Don't compare them. Let them get on with their life. Ask yourself, why aren't I doing my journey? Do you want, the Taoists call it, why do you want to walk in other people's footsteps? Walk in your footsteps. Do something that's right for you. Live and inspire yourself. Be your own cheerleader. These are things that are said all the time. Now you either agree with it or you say, no, that's wrong. I should follow somebody else. Then please write below why you think it's a good idea to let somebody else do something and then you follow them like a puppy dog behind them. I believe there is no one in the universe like you. Here's the Taoist teaching. You are unique. We are on this journey, a journey of no end. There, you won't get a rosette. You won't get first prize. So it's how you flow, how you go through this journey is the only thing that you can control. Don't try and control other people. Don't try and control other events. Control how you respond to those events. And then you'll see something almost magical happens. An alignment. And this is Wu Wei. Things start to become easier. You start to sleep better, eat better, exercise more, think more clearly. The clouds of confusion lift away. And you're doing this for yourself. I'm very pleased to share these teachings with you, but your greatest teacher is yourself. And believing in yourself. The thought, as Alex said, self-doubt, it's just so ridiculous to me. I've had clients for 45 years trying to show me why they self-doubt. I don't even understand the statement. Self-doubt? Well, what part of you is doubting what part of you? It doesn't even make sense to me. Your mind, what is your mind doubting your big toe? Is it your big toe doubting your mind? Is it your mind doubting your mind? That's what one client said to me. I said, well, she said, I can answer that. I said, oh, thank goodness. I want somebody to answer that. She said, it's my mind doubting my mind. And I said, does that make sense to you? And she said, no.
But we get locked into this confusion.
Exactly.
And that's what stops the flow of energy. That's what stops the acceptance. That's what stops the contentment. And that's what stops the ease of navigation through life.
That's right. And then you replace it with the inner child part of your mind, or what you may call the ego. I want more. I've got to do better. I've got to be the best. I've got to get the best results. I've got to be the best partner. I've got to be the best employee. I've got to be the best mother. I've got to be the best father. I've got to be the best at sport. I've got to, oh my goodness. And now you're on the carousel. Now you're wasting all of your energy. Instead of going down your journey, you've gone on some detour to somewhere that I don't know. And you're going round and around and around. And then you're saying, but my life, I'm not happy and I'm dissatisfied and I'm never pleased and I can't sleep at night. I'm overeating and I'm drinking too much and I'm going down the doctors with stress and tension and anxiety. And you're going round and around. And it's almost like quicksand pulling you down, pulling you down. And it's time to stop now. Take a breath. And just focus on what's important for you. What are your values? I've got 3 that I think connect me to Shen. I say it on all of the videos. Truth, honesty, integrity. I think 3 is about right. You could want more, 4 or 5, but not too many. What are your values? So a client a couple of days ago says, I've listened to your values and I've really thought about them, David. And I want to take 2 and I want to move 1. I said, oh, that's interesting. Which one do you want to move? She said, well, I like truth and I really like integrity. It's honesty I'd like to change. And I said, well, what would you like to change it to? She said, kindness. I said, fantastic. So truth, kindness, integrity. Now, if you have that as your value system, the filter, now when you come to me and say, I'm not good enough, does that go through that filter? No. And that's what creates red light feelings. So you have to change the belief, I'm not good enough, or you have to adapt the filter. And then she says, oh, I've got it. So I'm going to change the belief. I said, exactly. Change the belief. She said, but I've had it for so many years. I said, well, just decide now. My teaching is stop it. Stop it. Every time that belief comes into your mind, now that you know is wrong and will not go through your filter, stop it. And then you will live to your highest level. There's no more than that. There's nothing more to grasp. I should be like a donkey trying to grasp that carrot that you never get.
So if we are experiencing discontentment because we believe we're not enough, because we haven't got enough, we're not lovable, we can't cope, we're discontented, what you're saying is we need to run those statements, those internal statements and thoughts through the filter of truth, kindness, and integrity, or whatever we want, whatever our authentic values are.
Yes.
And if those statements are not true, they're not kind, they're lacking integrity, for example, we know we're lying to ourselves.
That's right. And take responsibility. Let's say 3. Take responsibility for finding 3 value statements, 3 spiritual statements, as I would call it, being a Taoist. 3 Shen statements would be in my teaching. Mine are truth, honesty, and integrity. If you can't buy into those, that's fine. Then create 3 Shen statements, 3 statements that you would say to your physical children, how they should guide their life by. And then when you come to a belief, see if it runs through that filter. If it does not run through the filter, then you are now creating a red light. You would call it anxiousness, stress, tension, anxiety, wanting more, not being enough. I mean, that statement, as you said, it's like I've just been electrocuted. I'm not enough. And clients say this to me, I'm not enough. What on earth does that mean? I don't even understand. The statement doesn't even make sense. Not enough for what? For whom?
But it's an ego statement.
Yes.
Our spiritual self, our true spiritual nature, our Shen, would never make that statement.
Exactly.
So we're talking from our ego, from our inner child, but we are buying into that story.
And this is what I don't understand. We don't question it. We just accept it. We accept a ridiculous statement like there's a square circle or a married bachelor or the moon's made of green cheese. You wouldn't say, oh, well, okay. You'd challenge it. I'm not enough. I say, could you explain that to me? And they can't. No one can, because it doesn't make sense, because it is a judgmental statement. So first of all, you have to get a judge. Then you have to find the rules that you're being judged by. Then you have to find that you don't meet those rules. This is all nonsense. And what's more, it wastes your energy that would be better used on being in your flow. You're deciding, no, let's take that energy away of living my life in satisfaction. I don't want to do that, David. I want to live in dissatisfaction. Isn't that a good idea? No, it's not. It's a bad idea. Stop it.
Okay, thank you, David. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground there and actually touched upon some very profound spiritual teachings, which I wasn't expecting, which are a really nice compliment and really get to the root of this contentment dilemma or issue. We've also done other teachings which will help you with this on the CCJ, the comparing, criticizing, being judgmental, on negative self-talk, on comparing yourself with other people, and also on inner child work. So all of those will help you navigate through this life challenge that so many of us encounter. If you have enjoyed this teaching, please do let us know and perhaps share it with someone else who you think would also benefit. David works every week one-to-one with clients all over the world by Zoom video call on these sorts of issues. And if you'd like to learn more about David's consultations, I will also put a link to those in the show notes. And finally, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We produce new teachings every week and we would love to share your journey with you. Bye-bye.